Hey everybody. I don't know why the camera's in this direction, but all right. I'm gonna try again. I had to rewire my light and electronic circuit to the engine battery. I think I'm gonna move this phone again. I was gonna give it for you guys had a better view of the electronics, but I think it's gonna work better is to put it up here. So this is another shakedown cruise on the boat, and the basic thing is I just got this radar in here, and so I can finally take the boat out at night and in weather. Um, and also now that it's gotten to the colder part of the year, what I'm learning pretty quickly is that the windows are very, very prone to fogging up in here. And I've got a Mabru 12-volt reverse cycle heat pump in here, so I've got air conditioning and heat. And basically, we're just testing all that out to see how it goes. Tide is reasonably high right now, and the tides are going. Looks like they're going out, but I don't think they are. No, they're actually going up. So we have a really high tide because of the lower system in the Gulf. Lights on. Unfortunately, I was planning on making this a kind of a sunset cruise, but it is just about sunset time. We got, geez, not very long. Let's put it that way. I think we got about. I don't even know what time it is. I have the time on here somewhere. Anyway, doesn't really matter. It is what it is. See if I can figure that out while we're coming out of the canals here. I'll show you guys my nice long canal exit. It'll pretty much be dark when we get out here to the end. My neighbors, I'm sure they think I'm nuts because I'm constantly going out at night. Yeah, it says local date and time should be on here, but where, I don't know. Yeah, there you are. Okay, so it's 4:41. It's 4 minutes to sunset. And what are we doing? We are heading out in a boat. And it's not really a storm. It looks like it is, but it's really been pretty light rain today. So what we're finding is the front up here doing a pretty good job. Put this fan on, but the rear windows are fogging a little bit because the heat is not really going in that direction. I kind of blow the air conditioner up between me and the seat here. But I wanted to get out here in the rain in hopes of finding it, poor visibility and coming when I started this effort, but I started having voltage issues, and well, there went the opportunity. So now I'm just going out because I went through the trouble of getting the boat ready, and so dang, I'm going to go out for a minute. That's all. Yeah, we're actually at low tide right now. It's just coming out of the low tide, so I have no problem getting back on the lift. My neighbor's lift. I have Charlie with me here today. I don't know. It's very practical to try to show you, Charlie, but there he is. Really need to keep an eye on these seagulls around here. They'll come out and get you. So, the funny story is that either that guy in that house right there or the one next to it, I don't know which one it is. I can't remember now. I think it's him. He, when I first got the boat, I mean, one of the very first trips, I was coming down the canal at 4.2 miles per hour. And Apparently, he thought that was too fast. It's supposed to be no wake, although there's not a single vessel in the water in this canal. Everything's on a lift. All the seawalls are in good shape. I mean, you can't possibly damage it. You can come through here at 50 miles an hour, you're not going to hurt anything. But I guess he's a self-appointed sheriff. And so he started, waving, like, slow down, slow down, slow down. Well, guess what? I was at idle. Now, granted, my idle was, 750, 800. And you can get away with an idle of about 650 on here, but this boat pretty much, it's about 3.8 is about as slow as it's going to go. So, you know, zero point 0.4 miles per hour, too fast for him, and he's got his little fist in the air. I thought it was kind of funny. But anyway, the funny story part of it is that I was coming back the other day, and I was actually going a little bit, just a touch fast. I was dealing with something. I don't remember what it was. I was dealing with some little issue, and I just ended up being, I try to run about 3.9 or 4, and I was going 4.3. And guess who was standing out in his yard again? So every time that I come out now, he seems to run to the door and stare at me. I don't know who voted the sheriff, but anyway. One reason I really like coming out in the rain is that this canal, well, it's over half a mile, maybe close to 3/4 of a mile. And there are tons and tons and tons of dogs on this canal. And unlike my dog, these dogs are not taught to, not go crazy when somebody's going by. So you get this barrage of barking dogs down the entire trip in the canal, which makes me really thankful that I've got a pilot houseboat instead of an open air boat, because I love dogs. I mean, I've got my dog right here with me. I just don't like dogs that incessantly bark. And, if you're going to live on a canal and you have boats coming by, it's not that hard to train them to, maybe behave a little bit, not bark at every boat that goes by like crazy. A little annoying. Speaking of annoying, somebody installed the windshield wiper on one spline too far, so every time it goes down, it kind of taps the frame. It's got to be probably one of the least best designed windshield wipers that I've ever seen on a boat. It's basically a little hole, it gets up to my line of sight, just the very top edge right here. And other than right here, everything here down, I'm just looking at the water. So I'm going to be looking at a longer arm. Looks like I've got about a 4-inch area to work with, and I need to order that. Anyway, so looking at streaming cameras, I think the best solution I can find right now is going to be using that Camera-Fi app, although it has crashed on me several times. Camera-Fi with a USB, or I guess it will support multiple USB cameras. So I'm hoping maybe I can order a couple of USB cameras, and then I can get my phone back and actually use the phone for texting and calls and whatever while I'm doing videos. I do not really like the idea of my phone being tied up in order to be able to live stream and not being able to look up things or whatever, answer texts. What we do in Florida in the winter, drive around the canals in rainstorms. I guess now, this area of the canal I really like. It's a little bit wider, and most of the people put solar LED lights on their boathouses and their seawalls. So it's really nice coming through here at night. Nice little Parker right there under the boathouse. What's funny to me, and not so funny, is that I need a boat lift and a boathouse, and you come down the canal, and about 50% are unused. But you can't exactly just park them somewhere else. There's a beautiful boat right here. The Everglades Pilot House, 2 300s on it, Yummies, and it just sits there. I'm sure it's got air conditioning and all that. Looks like they've stopped using it. It's really a little too big to get to where I live at because of having to turn around. This boat is 26, and she's right there about the limit of. You could probably get a 30 to turn around, but at least no margin for error. And just a hint of fogging on the front window right now with the fan turned the way I've got it. So I can tell you that the heater, the problem is I have the heat set to 69, which is pretty dang comfortable. And it pretty quickly got there. But now what's happened is the heat pump is shut off and it's allowing the moisture to build. I'm going to set the temperature higher. I could take my coat off, I suppose. Let's try it for 74. If we can find some number that it can't quite get to that's not totally uncomfortable, then that would really help. A little breezy. There was supposed to be a gale warning today, but I don't think it quite made it. That's interesting. Some new debris that I've never seen on the bottom before. Right here as I exit the canal. But it hasn't really been stormy enough today that I don't think anything would have blown in. And we're just about at the end of the rain again. Looking at the latest radar, it was just some light stuff left. I think maybe even in a little bit of time I'll be out here, it's going to start clearing just in time for sunset. Ah, seems to be nobody out here. Why? Pretty nice to me. Pretty nice little swells in the bay right now. They're parallel to my path. Looks like a little bit of lightning over there in the west. I don't think so, but the tower caught my eye at a weird angle. So I'm starting to get a little bit of fogging on the windows. Definitely have to come up with a vent system to direct some of this heat to the windshield. Beautiful conditions out here today. If you're in a pilot house, it wouldn't be so good on an open boat for sure. I'll swing around to the Pathway Bridge. The only problem is when you're coming back to these swells, probably be a little bit of a rough ride. See what happens. Yeah, these foggy windows pretty lame. We're basically heading southwest right now, almost south. Navy base is straight ahead of us on the other side of the bridge there. That's the Hathaway Bridge. You probably can't really see that good right now. Blue lights are on the bridge. See, normally you can't have this much fun in the bay. Never this rough. That pretty stout north wind today is making a difference. realized watching the last live stream that this camera or this phone doesn't pick up the engine sound at all. Yeah, it's going to be a fun ride back. All right, we're going to slow down for a minute because I want to make sure that I've got all four of the buoys for the bridge for the channel on my radar scope because the sea state is pretty rough right now, and this is the first time I've been in whitecap conditions with the radar, and I know we're getting kind of close. So, just trying to get my eyes on these bad boys before we go barreling through here very fast. Oh, yeah. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Of course, the wonderful thing about these pilot houses, they love to turn sideways to the wind, which is what happened while I stepped away from the helm for a second. All right, let's see what we got. All right. I think I've got them. Tell you what, though, these heavy seas, definitely, it struggled to get the initial lock on that first buoy. It didn't show up as far away as it normally does, but it did show up. And when it did, the signal was not as strong as I would prefer it to have been. It looked a lot more like a bird might look. All right, so now it's actually calmer over on this side, but we're not going any further. We'll turn around here and go back. That's the port right there. It'll be much calmer anywhere else that we could go besides North Bay right now because that wind has a couple of miles to really build up. So eventually I'm going to do a video, a real video on this Halo 20 Plus radar in these kind of conditions or worse because I think it's really important to know, you know, how well does it spot things like these little channel marker buoys that are unlit that are on each side of the main channel coming out of the bridge. Pretty important. If you're coming through and you didn't know they were here in a new area, best not to run at night anyway, but you never know what you have to do. And I knew they were here and I slowed down because I didn't see them. And when it did show up, it definitely left a bit to be desired on the clarity of it being a hard target. Even right now, I'm not exactly sure where they're at because some of the waves are returning echoes that are. I actually have pretty good visibility on. Turn this down since you can't see anything else right now. Well, it's going to be a rough ride home, gentlemen. I don't know if you can really see it good, but yeah, let me do it the easy way. All right, so there's one right there. You can see it going by. And on the radar, it's right over here. So it is seeing it. If I zoom out a little bit, it'll be more obvious. Then I've got this signal here, which I'm not positive that could be the second one, in which case the third one is supposed to be here and it's not showing up. And that's what happened the first time, it just didn't show up. These waves are nearly as tall as those little channel markers are. So looking at our direction right now, now this will tell me where the other one is on the map. I know that we're a little bit close to that one, so we're going to swing back. So, sorry guys, you can see that red. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't, but it's just to our right. But I have nothing on radar showing it right now, so I mean I know it's here. I have to have a wash down tonight. I have yet to see it. It should be right there. And there it is. It's right below the red tower light. Right there. And as you can see, there's really nothing on the radar that's clearly indicating a hard target. It's probably this. So it's literally right there. A little bit, see. You know, which one is it? It's one of these two, but then you have all these waves. So the point is that technology, you know, it's wonderful, but you definitely need to be careful. I mean, it's not infallible by any means. I happen to know there's nothing else out here unless there's a boat. Stand by one second, guys. I'm going to read out the phone. There's absolutely nothing to see outside the window. So, I'll just give you guys a view of the radar scope. So basically, I can set this to offshore mode. It may clean up the signal a little bit. Yeah. Could have a bit of rain clutter coming in here, but as you start taking that out, and then other targets may be less visible. The automatic mode is reducing the gain considerably. C state is set to moderate. If we go to rough, which I would say this is, it seems to help quite a bit. So here we go. Now, luckily, I have many trips out here. So I've got a good guide on where to go. I've got all the channel markers and everything are indicated here. Let's see how the gain is looking. If we go, where's the strong side? We zoom out. I just want to get eyes on some known obstacles. For example, there's a channel marker to my left, which I don't see on here. There's a sailboat to my right, which I believe is over here, and there's a sunken boat over here. I believe both of those are showing up. So it looks to me like the boats are definitely indicating good. The channel markers, on the other hand, they could be better. Now we do have one coming up in this area up here to the left, the upper left. That's the main one I'd like to see. I feel a lot better if it was seeing that. We're going to find out. We're actually headed straight for it, and I've got on the longer range radar, I've got a hit right here. So it looks like definitely picking it up in that mode. It's a little bit further away still than I thought. So if we zoom out, I'm curious to see. It appears to me that it's not on this one. Let's set the mode to harbor mode and see if it comes back. Yeah, so in harbor mode it is showing up. Harbor mode's what I run most of the time. All right, well, it works, but I think the lesson learned here is if you're in a particularly bad sea state, well, I probably wouldn't go very fast in this condition anyway. But as we were when we left, we were going parallel to the swells, and it was no problem planing out and going 24, 25 miles per hour. So if you're in a known area and you're only worried about boats, I think you'd be fine. If you don't know the area and you're worried about channel markers, or if you're worried about debris in the water, you're just not going to see it very, very clearly in these conditions. In which case, it would be best to slow it down. And we're basically heading back, just kind of taking it easy into these waves, and we'll get up here and make a right. We'll head straight in to the bayou here in a bit. Hey, Charlie Blue. What are you guys up to out there tonight? Probably not doing much to watch a live radar screen, but it's one of those kind of Saturdays. I get it. That's why I'm in the boat. I'm kind of bored. But well, another good chance to try out the radar and see what happens. Definitely learned a lesson about the fogging of the windows business. I hate to drill more holes in my boat. Really like to find a controllable solution besides ducting this air because once the boat is up to temperature, it starts cycling down the heat pump. That's when the fogging starts. So I don't really know since I can't run air conditioner mode and have heat. I actually been looking into the idea of doing a automotive air conditioning system on here, automotive compressor, and a freon to seawater exchanger, and then an automotive evaporator, which I've got room for, would fit easily right down into the same area the existing air conditioner is. And I don't know beyond that. I mean, probably some additional vent holes would have to be added, and they would have to be separate. It would just blow forced cold air out, which the heater could counter the cold like you would in a car. Could run the 12-volt heater in the wintertime, but run the air conditioner periodically to defrost the windows or defog them. And then I can tell you that summertime, I'm going to go out in the middle of July or June, that a 12,000 BTU unit is not enough to keep you particularly comfortable. So in the summertime, I would just run the automotive air conditioner when I'm underway and the Mabru. And then once you anchor up, you can put up shades on the windows or whatever, and then that would be enough. The Mabru would have no problem. But as soon as you open all the glass up, let that sun in, you can forget about it. So I guess the lessons we're learning is why most boats don't have air conditioning. It's not super practical. So I think what we've got right here is rain. This is rain clutter. There's nothing over there at that distance. Area of heavier rain going across right there, I guess. All right, so this is going to be where we're going in up here. Louisville, Kentucky. I hope to go to Kentucky in 2024. Keep saying I'm going to go there, but keep ending up in North Carolina and Tennessee. That area is just kind of played out for me. It's nice, but quite touristy. I want to get up in the mountains of Kentucky, further up in the North Carolina and Virginia, South Virginia, right there along the North Carolina state line. It's actually raining more now than it was. Not heavy, but definitely showing up on the radar a bit. stuff going on the bottom there. All right, let's go back to look. Well, I appreciate you guys riding along. It's probably these boat videos are interesting, but they tend to be very long videos. Now, as I'm getting closer to the northern shore, it's getting calmer. Let's get some speed on. Tell you how much it's bouncing. Not too bad. All right. Getting into the area. Channel markers are showing up on the radar. And I'm spotlighting just because it's good practice. It just so happens that the stern light or anchor light, which is roof mounted on this boat, is I just replaced it, and it's the brightest LED anchor light I've ever seen on any boat. And so it's actually good enough to light up everything around me a little bit. I'll move you guys back to the windshield. We're looking through the windshield here in a second. All right. Not gonna be able to see very much, but we'll see how it goes. That bright green light over there is somebody's, apparently their underwater light that has been sitting out on their dock for months. And it's on 24/7, and it's the brightest thing you've ever looked at night, at least. See, right now I'm having issues seeing the one channel marker is just not showing up, and I believe it has to do with the sea state, the clutter setting. Even then, it's having a hard time seeing it. Now, on the next set, it's seeing them fine, but further away, and you have the metal signs. Show you guys how bright this light is. Nearly a navigation hazard. I don't know. Like I said, I would guess that's an underwater light that, for whatever reason, is not underwater. All right. Well, we are coming into the bayou. You doing, Charlie? You all right, buddy? Well, we're at about the 15-minute mark to the dock. I'm just gonna go over this new debris real quick. Curious what the heck that is. Yeah. Yep. I wonder what it is. Huh. There's a couple of pieces that I've never seen before on the bottom. They don't stick up very far, thankfully. All right, I put a little bit of light on this for you guys. The clouds are actually making it brighter tonight than usual. The city lights are reflecting off of them, so I don't really need the light that much tonight. Turn off the long range radar. I usually start putting everything up. And a lot of times I don't even leave the HDS unit on in the canal. So we're going to try to catch the rocket launch Thursday night. I'll see if I can. I can't promise we're going to live stream it, but I'll sure try. I think it's 6 p.m. Central is the earliest possibility to launch on Thursday next week. If the weather's clear, it'd be pretty spectacular. It's warm in here. I'm going to take my jacket off. Man, the focus is just not happy tonight. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. My wife is not. She is not exactly a boater. I'm working on her though. That's one of the reasons I'm shaking this boat down right now and figuring on, everything that could be a problem. Like just trying to example these windows fogging up is a real pain in the butt. It's manageable, but I would prefer that it didn't happen. So we have to come up with a solution for that that's effective. And I'm actually having a problem with my windshield wiper. It stopped working on me, so I got the boat. It wasn't working. The wires where they hook up to the blades had corroded. The blades actually corroded off. So I made new connections. It was going really good, and then it stopped. So I don't know what's going on with it, but the light on the switch is showing a voltage feedback. So I know something's going wrong inside the wiper motor. It's really there's no other words to use but a piss poor design. It's just not a good design to have the the shaft going up from the motor and up through the deck so that water can come in through the shaft and get inside the motor housing. That's just a bad plan from the start. Every other pilot house that I've seen has the wiper motor mounted up top. And I'm not sure, maybe it's possible to find one that can be mounted. I don't know. The problem is that there's an overhang above the windshield, so the motor would have to mount to the bottom of the overhang. There may be one out there that works that way, and I would definitely put one on both sides. Two separate motors and two separate switches for safety, so that if one fails, at least you have the other. Because I can drive the both from either side, no problem. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. There's just very little to see. So I think I'm going to shut the live stream down, and we got about another 6 minutes or so. And I'll be pulling up to the dot. But hopefully I'll have a different live stream set up here soon. And once I do that, it'll be a lot better, because right now what I've got is I'm trying to drive the boat, and I've got this phone in my way. It's mounted in front of my face. Appreciate you stopping by, man. I'll get it sorted out soon. Depends how many views these videos get. I'd like to do some more live streaming. It's pretty fun to do, and I think there's a lot to show out here on the water. Maybe not so much at night, but certainly in the daytime, fishing and looking at other things going on. Certainly weather is always interesting. One day I'll be out in the lightning storm, I'm sure. But anyway, well, guys, have a good one. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next one.